Hello witches, welcome back to my channel. It is Lucca, and today we are doing yet another EA house renovation. So this area of Oasis Springs has always been one of my favorite areas in The Sims 4 completely, particularly the base game, of course, but this lot is called Agave Abode, and I never really play in this particular house. I tend to play in this neighborhood and on this lot in particular, but I never really use this house. Mainly just because, the wall height is medium and it's kind of dark. It's kind of dingy. I don't really like the colors. I think overall it's just kind of blah. Like I know what they were kind of going for, but it's just very dark, dingy, and just I don't know, it just looks really gloomy in here. So we definitely make this over. Now in this build I am only going to be using the base game. However, I do not have any budget limitations just because there isn't any Sims living here initially, and I thought it would be kind of cool to just renovate it to be a little bit more furnished. It's not too much either. It's around 50,000 simoleons, so it's pretty realistic for a family that's kind of, pretty developed. But yeah, I do keep the original floor plan pretty much. I do adjust a few things, but nothing crazy. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into the renovation. With these EA house renovations, the first things that I like to do is replace the lighting, because the lighting that they use in these are usually pretty bad. They always go for these weird overhead lights that just put a bunch of light directly down onto the floor, but nowhere else. It's so dark and dingy. And then I started on the front of the house because there really isn't much of a yard in this home. There really isn't a backyard or anything. Also, there is something that I did miss. I actually saw it when I was recording the fly through and the screenshots and stuff. There's this single tile. There is this single tile of random flooring just in the very back right corner of this lot, and I'm not entirely sure why or what happened there. But yeah, it was a very random thing, and it was kind of nice that I paused there for a second to see it. But I just first off I adjusted just the colors a little bit. I actually kept the essence of the house pretty original. I do lower the wall heights to just the normal wall height because you know me, you know how I am. Medium wall heights, tall wall heights. If it's a smaller house, it just makes them look so much smaller. And I probably should have left the house with the stucco on the outside, but I really loved this greenish tone on this brick here, and I thought it worked really well. I add a little bit of a awning kind of thing on the front porch here with some of this, I don't know what you call this. It's not really a pergola. It's attached. It's an awning, but it's open. I don't really know what you call it, but I put some, plants on it just to kind of make it look a little bit more lush. And I kept that really neat chimney there. I just lowered it down with the tool mod so that we could see a little bit less of it. I just thought that would be, it would make it look a little bit more proportional with the build because I lowered the wall height, and I added some of that stone texture wallpaper there on the kind of bump out section, and honestly this looks so much better. It still kind of looks like the original essence of the house, but it's just a little bit more updated, a little bit more just natural looking. And I did just kind of focus on adding a little pathway up to the front with a new bit of a garden out front. I didn't really add any skill building items. I probably should have, maybe something like some garden boxes or something, but it just didn't really make a lot of sense. So I just kept it pretty simple and just put some cactuses and stuff, because it's the desert. And I do keep these windows the way they are. At least the windows that we got with the house originally. I kind of used the same style of windows, and I added some of these log pieces that go on the exterior. I don't know. I feel like I added a bit of detail into this house and just kind of changed up the vibe a little bit, and it looks more like what the house should be like instead of it just being, kind of simple. This home was built, a good almost decade ago. So, it's time for a little bit of a change. And I really, really liked the little garden that I made out front. I just kind of kept it pretty simple. Instead of filling it full of all these like lush plants, I focused on like deserty plants because, I thought, why not? I don't really do that very often. So it's nice to kind of take advantage of the fact that we're in the desert. And I just kind of kept it a natural shape. And I just go in and I add some of these agave plants. These are from the Show Live Edit Object section of the, debug and all that. If you have the Better Build by mod by Twisted Mexi, you'll actually find all of the debug plants in the plants category. So, and that's kind of how it is with the majority of the items in Show Live Edit Object and the debug object items. You can find them easily with the Better Build by mod if you're on PC. So I definitely recommend checking that out. I'll leave Twisted Mexi's link in the description to his website where you can check out all of his mods. His mods are incredible, but or their mods, their mods are so useful for building. But yeah, I added just a few of these palm tree kind of plants. I've never used those particularly, and I really liked them. I don't know why I've never used them before, but I thought they added a lot of character to that little section there because I've just never used it. I don't know, it's just really fun. And that's pretty much it for the exterior. I kept it very simple. I added a car there because, you got to have a little realism, One of the critiques I will have of this floor plan, it is very spacious and it does have a lot of room for everything, which is pretty nice. It's not too much room either, which I kind of appreciate. The only problem that I do have is the very front, like hallway entry area. It's so big and spacious, and I'm kind of confused why. Like, I know a lot of EA homes don't really have like the tiniest entryways because, they just want more space. But this just seems kind of crazy because like it's bigger than the kitchen. It's bigger than almost the living room and dining space, and it's almost a whole entire room in and of itself, and it's just an entry. So I do put in a computer desk there just to kind of at least give it some functional spaces there. I don't know, it just seems kind of non-functional to me. And then the color palette that I went with this home is actually really, really nice. It's a little bit different than what I expected to do, but I'm really happy with the result. So I kept the dark swatch on these windows just to keep that dark wood contrast, but then I did a really light flooring and a light wall, color on the interior, and I really, really liked that. It didn't really perfectly match up with the exterior, but the exterior has that kind of sagey green brick, so I thought that made a lot of sense for it to kind of carry on to the interior there. And for some reason, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm just imagining that all these, brighter, cooler colors are just a lot more refreshing than, walking into a really dark, dingy, hot house in the desert. It's better for it to be lighter and brighter because at least it feels cooler, at least. It could just be a mind thing, but I really just loved using all sorts of green tones and this like light wood tone mixed with the really dark contrasting wood tones as well. I don't know. I've built a lot of homes using only the base game, and I still find myself finding new ways to build with it, and it's really, really fun. This particularly just it was really easy to do too, because I was like, oh, I can just do this and, add green here and, have this little bit of contrast there, and it's super, super handy. You also saw me change the light of a lamp in the dining space. That is a extension, like that's just a part of the Better Build by mod. So again, check it out in the description. Definitely an incredibly useful mod. And then the entryway here, I'm just adding the computer, like I said, because, at least it gives it some, function for this room, because it's just kind of empty. Before there was just a single kids bookshelf, and I thought that's so sad looking. I don't know why. Like the fact that there was nothing else in there just kind of was sad. But I do add walls to the kitchen because there was like some open spaces for that. I add some archways instead. I thought that looked a lot nicer. And to me, I feel like open plan, your home should either be specifically open plan or not. And I think that having it kind of a weird mix between the two just kind of makes it awkward. And plus the entrance to like this kitchen originally, you had to walk I think it was you had to walk through the living room to get to the hallway to get to the kitchen instead of just walking directly to the dining space from the kitchen. So I made sure to have a doorway with both so it was nice and open. Once I got to this kitchen, I was like, okay, this is the color scheme for this house. It's like a warm beigey cream color with this like rich greenish tone. I love this, and I use this funky wallpaper from the base game that I never really get the chance to use, but it worked really well here, and it contrasted really nicely with the dark brown wood tones as well. Yeah, I don't know. This kitchen was not what I expected, but I really, really like it, and it works really well. I've been trying to keep these EA house renovation builds pretty simple in the sense that I'm not like overly cluttering all the surfaces or making it, ridiculous, because especially when you're, using limited packs, that gets really old really quick. You tend to start seeing the same objects over and over. So keeping it fairly minimal means that you can kind of appreciate the items that you do have, and you can differentiate all the builds from each other's, because it's like, oh, they're actual different objects in each house. And I just really liked this dark wood tone next to this kind of creamy beigey tone. It's very soft and very nice. And I don't know, it's a good contrast. And I definitely went kind of crazy with the green accents throughout the home, but I really, really liked it. The master bedroom, kept it pretty simple. Just added these windows instead. I think I like these windows more. The other windows that are like the rounded windows, those look really good in medium wall height walls, but they just kind of seem a little bit awkward for the shorter wall heights. So I just went with this, rectangular window that was in the same collection. And then I'm just furnishing up the bedroom here. I did like the wallpaper in here initially. I kind of like that one wallpaper that's behind the bed currently with this, the spots, like the speckled paint spots. But I do change it because it's just, the white was too bright. You know me. I don't really like solid white in any of my builds. I just feel like solid white can look just very bland, and it works for some builds and it works for some styles, but it's just not really for me, especially with this kind of home, which was a little bit more natural and a little bit more, just different, so I went with this wallpaper instead that I just used in the living room. And I think I add an accent wall as well. There's a couple pauses throughout this video because I actually am looking at Spotify currently. I just finished recording this build this morning, so I'm looking through Spotify right now. I'm actually, so here's a little insight. I was listening to a new playlist that I made. The playlist is called Everything Taylor Seasoning. It's actually a Taylor Swift playlist. It's literally all of her music, just all of her music on one playlist, because I'm that big of a fan. So I will just play that playlist and hit shuffle, and I'll just let it play in the background while I do things, because it's just like, oh yeah, it's just Taylor, serenading me through my chores, stuff like that. And yeah, I redid the bathroom here. I really like the bathroom. The color scheme kind of worked for every room in this house. This like light sagey green with the darker greens, and then the beige and the browns. It's just very nice. It's very earthy. It's very natural. It's very much so my color palette. If you've seen my builds before, I'm very much into this color palette. Strangely enough, I didn't use any orange in this build, except for the car outside. I didn't really use orange. I love a good orange, brown, and green theme, but I avoided it because I was like, I want to just change it up, and I'm really, really happy I did. But yeah, this other room here, I actually made it into a kid's room. It was already a kid's room, I'm pretty sure, but I made it into a double kid's room. So there's 2 beds in here now, and yeah, that's honestly pretty much it for this build. It's a pretty straightforward renovation. I hope y'all enjoyed it, though. Do let me know in the comments, and I do plan on doing some bigger EA house renovations soon. I actually have the land grab house, not the landgram, the land grab house. I do have that planned to do later on. It's a big home, so it's going to take me some time, but for now I'm just going to focus on the starters and then kind of move my way up slowly here and there. But I hope you all enjoyed this little series that I'm doing. I'm actually having a lot of fun with it, even though I'm kind of currently in a little bit of a I'm kind of uploading a little bit less currently, but don't worry, videos will be back on regular schedule soon. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Do let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it, as well as let me know any other builds you would like for me to do in this series as well. And yeah, if you got to this part of the video, why don't you comment your favorite shade of green? Let's make it a little bit more specific today, But that is everything. Thank you all so very much for watching. watching, stay weird, and I will speak to you all next time. Goodbye, witches.